Okay. Right, I suppose I'll just start from the top and crack on and hope my internet service provider doesn't drop out again today. Right, okay, so Anthony, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing fine.
Brilliant, thank you
Thank
very much
you.
for joining me. I appreciate your devoting your time to this.
Not a problem.
Right, now you're in Germany, that's right, isn't it?
That's correct. I've been here since 1990 as a civilian. I worked in a fabric where my first job was I worked in a fabric where we worked with spices. I worked there for 12 years. And then I had back problems and got reschooled to office management. But then I couldn't get a job as that. And finally, now I'm working for a package delivery company.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Now, do you have a sort of an internet profile? Do people know you online for any particular reason? Are you a YouTuber or do you have a Discord, things like that?
Well, Discord I have, it's under my name, Anthony Bailey. I have a YouTube. I mean, I don't post a lot. I do certain things. I fly with my drones. I have done some work with After Effects, posted it in there. I've done a project with a friend of mine and his brother where they had two classic cars. Um, yeah, they're pretty well known here in Germany and in France. Well, that's about it. So as YouTuber, you couldn't really say anything. I do have something planned,
Right.
but I'll be putting that up in a second channel.
Right, okay, fair enough. Um, so do you have any projects coming up at the moment that you specifically want to tell people about, or is it just things that are sort of in the pipeline?
Well, just some things in the pipeline. Could say I'm a glober, but I'm not really in that fight that much. Uh, I'm not really so a debunker. What some of these are, where they can go out and say all these equations and maths and stuff. I'm just not that kind of person. Um, I would do it more from the standpoint of a average person, what an average person sees.
Absolutely. Well, actually, that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, really, was because I am looking for perspectives from people who aren't necessarily big profile YouTube debunkers, but who still have an opinion on the matter and would like to sort of share it in some respects. When it comes to the whole flat Earth phenomenon, how long have you been aware of it?
Uh, I guess you could say for about the last year and a half. I mean, I used to watch a lot of atheist videos, debunking of creationism and stuff like that. And then somehow it got into through the non sequitur show where they started having more from the flat Earth side. Um, debunkers of flat Earth.
Sure.
And then I said, oh, well, I thought it was kind of natural. It is human nature, partially, to deny certain things. You know, I would call them contrarians,
Yeah.
where it doesn't matter what for evidence is presented, they are going to deny it just because they mentally or psychologically they have to.
Yeah, I think I've recognized that pattern myself, actually. Certainly when I've been arguing with people who are either of a religious or a flat earth sort of perspective, it doesn't, they seem to have firmly entrenched positions, and they're not very keen on shifting them, no matter how much sort of simple layman's evidence you can put in front of them. Um, I suppose really part of the reason that I'm asking you these sort of questions is because when I've had these arguments with people such as that in the past, I've wanted to find out what other people have found in terms of the same arguments. Now, I'm the same in that I was watching the Non Sequitur show and sort of atheist debunking, and that's what got me into Flat Earth with you. And I've noticed a lot of similarities between religious and Flat Earth debunking, and even a lot of Flat Earthers who do it for a religious reason. Have you noticed that at all?
Yeah, I've seen some, but not all. I mean, some do refer to, oh, in the Bible it says firmament and
Sure.
stuff like that. But in the Bible it says a lot of things,
Hmm.
and then others just do it
As a
just to
sort of,
be contrary, to say no. I don't care what the whole rest of the world says. This is the way I want it to be.
yeah, I see that a lot. It's sort of like the special knowledge thing, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, okay, so why do you hold the view that the world is a globe? It's quite a general question, I know, but is there anything specific you point to, or are there sort of general things you point to?
For me, it's never. I mean, the thought of the Earth being flat has never really been a question. I've pretty much. I mean, okay, flat earthers will say the indoctrination, but when I was in the army, I flew several times from the States to Germany and from Germany to the States. And you can see that it's just other things. I get this feeling flat earthers, they say a lot from perspective, but they're seeing it from their perspective, which is true. Okay, if I sit here and look out my window,
Hmm.
you know, and anybody looks out their window, sure, it looks flat. I mean, not really by me. I got mountains all around, but because I'm kind of landlocked, I don't have an ocean to watch ships go over the curvature. But sure, from your perspective, from where you're standing, it looks flat. But you have to go further than that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I see that. It's I can almost forgive people for taking that very, very superficial view and saying, well, it looks flat. But I find it more difficult to forgive people for then not going further and trying to find out for themselves if there is a greater truth, especially when so many people seem to point to there being a different version of events than what you can see in front of your eyes. Um, so you said you don't make debunking videos or things related to the flat Earth, right?
Well, I haven't. Like I said, it's kind of like because of my work, I don't have a lot of time to do the things I want to do.
Sure.
But in the middle of next month, towards the end of next month, I'll be having 3 weeks of vacation, and I do plan on doing some things there. And what I have planned is kind of like an open letter to flat earthers.
Right.
Of course, it won't be addressed directly to flat earthers, those who really believe in flat earth, but those who might be thinking about it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Just presenting it from a layman's term, from the simple, like I said, not just looking at it from your perspective, from where you're sitting on the ground, but from looking at a little bit further.
Absolutely. And trying to avoid some of the more complicated maths and so on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see the Earth and globe without all that.
That's something I've always thought. I always worry when you're trying to sort of educate someone who thinks the world is flat. Using too much in the way of complex equations isn't going to do your side much favors because they're unlikely to understand it and they're more
Yeah, they're
likely
gonna
to
like,
mistrust it.
that's too high for me. I'm shutting it off. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Okay. Do you have any influences? It sounds like there are, you've got this project in the pipeline. Was there anything that specifically made you want to do it, or anyone, someone who is a debunker, or perhaps someone who's a flat earther?
Well, mostly it's, by the way, most of these debunkers that you watch address everything. All these equations and stuff like that. I want to get my point is to just simply like a talk between me and them about, but don't you see why this wouldn't work? like a dome, right?
Yeah.
A dome won't work.
Yeah.
It just won't work. And other things, you just simply looking farther than your backyard and saying, "Oh, it's flat," because I can see my neighbor's house.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a very laudable sort of thing to do. It's sort of what I'm trying to do with these interviews is get the perspectives from other viewpoints you haven't heard, not the scientific debunkers so much, but laymen like me, like you, who have got good explanations, but possibly aren't going to get the same sort of audience because we don't approach things in the same way. So I'd like this to be a platform for people to not only describe their feelings, their views on the matter, but also, if necessary, to let other people know where they can find you. So, in terms of influences myself, obviously I look lots of videos. People like Conspiracy Cat spring to mind, and Simon Dan, and then you've got people like Red's Rhetoric. I saw all of the debates and the arguments, and the one thing that stuck with me was that very few of them had the sort of the mild tone that I wanted to hear. People like Bob the Science Guy, for instance. But then those who did often used sort of much more complicated sets of science and mathematics to work these things out. I'd like a polite, calm, gentle way to just express our views and why we think them. Um, Now, I've got my own views, obviously, but how do you think this latest flat Earth sort of phenomenon has come about?
Well, I mean, it's a revision uh, from stuff that hasn't been the internet.
Yeah,
The internet is, I mean, flat Earth has been around for a long time. There's always going to be people that believe in it, just like the people who believe that, we didn't go to the moon, and there's always going to be people that think the Earth is flat. And when the day comes that, you can take
I've lost you.
people are like that. They have to be.
I'm really
Um,
sorry. I'm afraid we lost that answer. My signal dropped out for about 5 seconds. Do you think I could ask you to essentially answer that one again?
sure. Um, where was
Well, I said. So, how do you think all of this came about? Do you think the influences of the media or the internet, social structures, religions, things like that? What is it do you think caused this latest movement to arise?
Oh, the latest movement is just a revival of a movement that once was, that then got stuffed in the back burner somewhere. But because of the internet and its ability to reach out to people, it started up again. I mean, Dubay, please.
Yeah.
He never answers anything. All he does is question it.
Oh, that's such a common tactic. I'm just asking questions. And then when you ask
Right,
them to come to any sort of conclusion, they go, well, I don't know. It's still a mystery. As if that was somehow an argument against the model that we have on our side of the debate.
right.
Okay.
And ignoring everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, do you have any views on how it will end? Because my view is that it seems like a bubble, and that it's been growing with momentum more and more for the last 3 or 4 years. But in the last sort of 6 months, things have got sort of rather big. They've reached the public spectrum with that Netflix film and so on. And I get the feeling that maybe we're coming near the end of it. But I wondered if you had a view on how it's all going.
Well, to tell the truth, it will never end. It
Yeah,
may get put back in a back burner somewhere,
yeah.
but the actual people that think that the Earth is flat will never disappear. There will always be people who think the Earth is flat.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you'll find. I hope that there are plenty of people out there who are somewhat on the fence, who maybe believe the Earth is flat for reasons that even they could be convinced are not entirely accurate. And what you'll end up with is the same hardcore of people we've always known who'll keep doing the same thing they always do, but their followings will dwindle somewhat, and it'll sort of pass on to the back burner again. That's my hope anyway, and I think it follows the pattern that other things like this do. I think it's more or less a kind of fad. It's a new conspiracy theory, like who shot JFK or what happened at Roswell.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They swell up to their maximum and then they shrink because nobody wants to hear it anymore. It's just, oh, yeah, okay, same old thing, blah blah blah. And then you have all the debunkers that come in and say, no, that's not the way it is. I mean, look at this and look at that, and so then they'll just disappear into the woodwork
Yeah.
for a while, and then sometime later it'll just bubble back up.
Yeah, some little spark will reignite interest. People won't have heard in things for a while. There'll be another little bubble. Okay, well, before I leave you, I wanted to ask if there were any particular favourite arguments or evidence or statements that you've heard that you'd like to sort of echo now. Something that you'd like to say to people who believe the Earth is flat or perhaps aren't convinced the Earth's a globe, that you could say to them to either think about or go and look at for themselves, perhaps a person or a place. Something like that where you think would be valuable for them to educate themselves.
I think for the most part, I mean, there's not really any. I mean, some people have said a lot of good things,
Sure.
and for me, it all comes down to one point. Flat earthers think that we globers think we are so insignificant in the whole scheme of the universe.
Yeah, I've noticed
We're
that.
just one speck of dust on a gnat's ass, and insignificant. But in the flat earth world, you say, we are nothing more than an ant farm project on a sixth grader's science fair.
Sure. Because I've heard the argument that being on a flat Earth with a dome makes us somehow special. The world and the universe was created for us to live in, and that gives us this special value and place in the universe. But as far as I've always been able to tell, it sort of puts us in our place. It actually makes us property in some sense, or yeah. Whereas the idea that we're tiny and insignificant in this enormous universe is strange to me because of the amazing things that we've managed to do, and how, given enough time and working together, we could see so much of it and learn so much about it that we wouldn't seem so insignificant at all. We could make an impact upon the universe.
They think we're insignificant, but we aren't.
Yeah.
We are here. We are on this planet. And we don't know for sure if there's any other planet in this universe that is like ours. So that makes us unique.
Absolutely.
I mean, there may be life on other planets, but it may not be like us.
I've always held the view that until we find out for sure that there's something else out there like us, we need to think of ourselves as extremely precious and rare. Something that needs to be looked after, needs to be cared for and nurtured.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, look, this has been a fascinating conversation talking to you. It's every bit as good as I hoped it would be and better. It's over slightly more quickly than I thought it would be, but that's good. It means my internet doesn't have another chance to drop out. So thank you very much for your time. This video, I'm not even sure I'm going to need to edit it much. It's been so straightforward. I'll just pop it straight up for people and advertise it on Discord and so on. Obviously, you're free to mirror it or just do with it as you please. You should find it.
Oh, thank you. I may just do that.
Brilliant, yeah. Right, well, I think that's just about it. Obviously, to anyone who's watching, if they liked it, please feel free to subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell for more updates. Hopefully, there'll be more of these coming out very soon.
Yep, you can subscribe and like.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. If you want to email me, you can contact me at tarpaulin999@gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jimbojo. This has been the Baller Interviews. Good morning, afternoon, or good night, wherever you are. Thank you very much indeed. Anthony, goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks very much.